what time it was. All right, so welcome everybody to the October 3rd, 2023 Delta Amateur Radio Club Board of Directors meeting. Let's see. Do we want to, we had briefly talked about it last month. Or I guess, have you heard anything on the update of the building, Joe?
No, I have not.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Bluff City Blues Ride happened this past weekend. It went pretty well. We had a little bit of miscommunication on getting some of the volunteers there, but thankfully Joe stepped in and I think it worked out pretty well. And I know we changed it around a little bit to where we kind of had more SAG drivers versus SAG stations. And then Tulio, the coordinator, came up to us afterwards and said that what he's wanting to do is that next summer maybe actually get some of us in with some of his crew to sit down and figure out a good plan. And like, even if whether we have ham radio operators riding around with some of them, or whether they say, hey, we've got, you know, who can spare 3 extra bike racks to put on the back of the ham radio operators vehicles. So they were talking about doing more collaboration this next time, which we'll see. I think we've talked about that before with him, and it never happens. But who knows? Maybe next year. But there were no major incidents, and it seemed to go pretty well considering.
Well, there was one dog bite.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't cover that on the radio though, so
no.
I think, and it got handled on their own. I think there was a dog bite. There was a bee sting where somebody, I think they said was mildly allergic, but they were okay. There was somebody who crashed off of her bike, but she was okay. She just got bandaged up. And then we had like 3 flat tires within the first like 30 minutes to an hour or so, which was weird. And then after that, it seemed to smooth out. So wasn't too bad. The Elmer sign up sheet that we did at the last meeting seemed to go well. So Chad apparently had issues checking in on the radio, and I was able to pair him up with Joe Plunk before we left. And before they even left that night, or actually they went over to Bellevue's parking lot to work together, and it sounds like Joe was able to help him get his radio issues straightened out. And so Chad has been checking in more frequently on the radio now. So I thought that was good. Han volunteered to be a general Elmer. Joe volunteered to be an Elmer. And then, so Chad got help, but we still have Jonathan Urschel, who wants to get some assistance getting on HF with his antennas, and then John Simmons, who said getting HF antenna up, getting HF going, etc. So the only other 2, we just need to pair them up, which could probably be with Joe or Ham, Joe Plunk or Ham Hilliard with HF, if y'all thought that was a good match. What do you think?
Ham would be a good one. Who lives near? Let's ask this question: who lives the nearest to him?
John Simmons lives in Midtown, and Ham lives in Raleigh. Okay. Jonathan lives in Germantown.
Okay.
Joe's in Germantown, so maybe that would work.
Well, I think Jonathan, I went by Jonathan's house. He's looking at 2 things. One, he was talking about a VHF, UHF antenna on his chimney, and he's got a house it's going to need a 25-foot ladder to put an antenna on the chimney. 25 or 30-foot ladder.
That's on the roof. The chimney comes out the roof.
What was that?
Do you have to put the ladder on the roof?
No.
Okay.
No, the chimney's on the side of the house, and the roof is quite steep.
Okay.
And the chimney goes up pretty high because it's on the edge of the house, and the chimney has to go over the crest of the roof to keep smoke from backflowing.
Could he do an antenna in the attic?
I'm not sure. Another thing was he bought an HF radio in Huntsville and wants to get on the air. He even said, well, we can go, there's a park right across the street, go to the park and show him how to. The thing about it is I don't know anything about the radio, so somebody's going to have to know the radio before they can talk to him on it. And I think it's an off-brand radio.
Okay.
There's bound to be a YouTube channel that it covers it.
I think he's got an off-center fed dipole or something that he got. Anyway,
he needed an
I don't know
Elmer
if he wants
before
the
he needed an
HF
Elmer
up first or the HF.
He needed an Elmer before he bought.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Maybe we can pair him up at the meeting next Tuesday with somebody.
I may email them before and see if they'll give any more information. I guess mainly, especially John, to see. But yeah, we can try.
You can just make an announcement at the club that we got this new program for Elmer's, and Leroy here needs somebody to help him set up his radio and teach him about it. And it happens to be an Exumi radio. If anybody's familiar with that, could you pair up with him?
Oh. Yeah. But anyway, but it was exciting to see that, not even past the first day that we did that we were able to help Ham get some help with that with Chad. So I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see. So the board next year, to bring that up. So I told Joe and Perry last week, and of course, all of you guys tonight. So I'm not going to be able to run and serve another year. I mean, I'd like to try, but the more I think about it, the more that I just don't think I would do it justice if I'm missing a bunch of meetings and then not able to work much on anything and all that. I will be happy to help out with as much as I can, but I just don't see how I can make it happen. So, and then Paul, you said you cannot, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I've got a couple things popped up that's going to keep me from doing it.
Okay. So, I know, Taylor Nicky, is that right, Joe? Taylor Nicky, his last name? He has expressed interest in maybe trying to step in and help out on the board in some capacity, which at the time
he's only got two meetings.
Yeah. Which at the time I did not think, and I told him that too, that there may be something where, we might, if it might be one of those situations where we have to kind of just let him train or assist on the side, and then if he wanted to step in next year, then we could revisit it later. He expressed interest. Joe Plunk, I don't know if he would have any interest or not, but it seems like he's been really stepping up to get more involved with stuff. And there's a handful of members who have been trying to step up and do more. So I mean, I feel like we've got some possibilities there, but
I talked to Park Dodge, Perry and I did Thursday night.
Yeah, he reached out to me about the secretary position, and so I passed on the information that Mary Jean had put together about what it does, and kind of tried to give him an idea of how long it took. But I haven't heard back from him since I sent that to him. That was yesterday.
Yeah, I talked to Joe Plunk and he said he wasn't interested,
okay.
which surprised me. I thought that would be a good idea, but he just said he thought that would be too much for him. So,
Okay. Any other ideas? I mean, I feel like we could probably walk around the room and ask, but
You're not going to get anybody out by asking. You have to go up and tap them on the shoulder and talk.
oh yeah,
them.
that's what I meant. Like going up one on one to folks to talk to them.
Park has not said no yet.
Yeah.
He's only got 3 sessions, and if he comes in October 4 and November 5, but he has done 3 testings with us for classes, and he's taught 2 classes.
Okay.
So I
That
would
should count
figure
for
that
something. That
teaching-
should count for something, club activities.
All right. Harry, would you be interested, or would anybody else? You know, I know typically like a vice president steps into the president's spot, but like if not, I mean, we've had other positions step up too. So, would any of y'all be interested in doing that? Perry specifically?
no,
Spot.
no, I'm going to have to go on my church board this year too. And I just think that'd be too much for me.
Okay. Any
somebody
of you other
wants
guys?
to take over director of training.
Oh.
That's a good one, Joe.
All right. Well, y'all think about it. I know we've got other stuff to cover tonight, but
Joe would be a good one.
yeah. All right. We mentioned last month that we'd put it off till this month to bring it up again. And if we need to put it off one more month, or talk about it more at the club meeting instead, we can. But youth involvement, do we want to step up and do anything else extra, or not right now?
I know it seems like a couple people might be involved with this. There's some kind of a scout event coming up in like 2 weeks, and I heard some chatter around that. So that's not
Jamboree
us.
on the air.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we could leave it at that. I mean, I'd love to personally do more to help out with that, but I know my hands are full right now as well. Okay.
I know KO4. Ryan brought it up about down at Camp Courier out of Eudora, Mississippi. And Joe responded to it. So I don't know if he's going to do something or not. They're looking at for some hams to go down to Camp Courier to be there and do Jamboree on the air. I don't know what, I haven't gotten into any specifics of it. I had one person contact me wanting to go to his campsite on Crawley's Ridge, and I said that's something that I don't think anybody's going to do, going that far out of town for Jamboree on the air. And I suggested maybe, he said something about Camp Courier, and I said Shelby Forest is probably closer, but I hadn't heard from him.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we can just wait and let it see how it plays out with the members, and if that's just something a couple people do, we can just let it roll this year. All right, officer reports. Joe, do you want to kick us off with training?
Training, I'm working on getting a general class going. I've got to call in to the lady at the police department to see if Mondays are available. I've been debating possibly doing Zoom instead of in person, but I'd rather have in person. And probably starting the 30th of October or the next week on Monday nights. I did do Laurel testing Thursday night for Jelly Thompson's class. He had 8 or 9 students there, 8 passed. 3 of them had trouble. 2 of them had to take it again, and 1 of them had to take it twice again. But they did pass, and they were interested in the general class. Several of them were interested in the general class. So, and I know some from the summer class, and I think 1 or 2 from the winter class or spring class probably would want to get into the general class. I just have to get it tied down for a location. If I can't get a location, then I'll go Zoom. But I really prefer to get it in person to have that relationship among the students as well as the instructors. And that's it.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me go ahead and share out my, I was going to try to share my screen. It says host disabled.
Right now.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, let me go ahead and start actually with our certificates of deposit. I'll switch it up here a little bit. All right, so we have 2 certificates of deposit, as everybody knows. One is coming up for maturity here at the end of November. So I'll begin looking to see what we can do about that. If they've got any deals and be able to present that at our next meeting as to what the options might be. But we've got $5,074.59 in the one that was just a 1-year CD, and then we're currently at 11,185 in the larger one that we still have a year to go on that. So roll back up here to our checking, and so we started the month with $19,798.28, had $1,586.47 in deposits, and we had 2 checks for a total of $165.59, bringing us to the end of the month balance of $21,219.16. So let me go ahead and go through all these items here. So checks, we had the $100 deposit or $100 donation to the seminary, and $65.59 was to Scott for snacks for the club meetings. So those are down here at the bottom. And then for deposits, we had 5 membership applications submitted. One was the dues were waived because it was a new member who had taken a class from Joe and had joined ARRL. And then we had 4 renewals. One was a family renewal. So it was
Jeff Krause.
no, it was actually it was Bill. I can't remember Bill's last name. He's down.
Hancock.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So it was Bill and Vicky. So that's where that extra $5 came from. So total of $85 received with applications. Joe had a deposit for $80 for ARRL commissions with 5 new and 1 renewal. And the next deposit was from a sale from Karen Chancellor's estate of $167.10, and then there was another one right after that for $75.20. So Joe, thank you so much for all of that. Actually, all of this is going to be Joe. Then Joe and did you go with Steve to Trenton?
Yeah, Steve Frazier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I still I think I still owe you money for that, don't I? Or I owe you money for something, some reimbursement.
Yeah. Well, there's some reimbursements for freight on the shipping of gear out.
Right. So from the Trenton Flea Market, there was a deposit of $294. And then from the club sales at our last meeting, there was a deposit of $275. And then there were a couple QRP transceivers. I don't know which estate that was from. Was that from Karen's?
Karen, yeah.
Okay. All right. So another $399.60. And then I did receive a check in the mail from Fred for reimbursement from Neshoba. And I think we might still have an outstanding reimbursement from Mara. Is that correct?
No.
No?
I thought Mara donated a lot of the food.
How was that? Is that how
Free to Fest.
Okay. Okay.
Mary Jean, didn't you agree with Fred to split it?
Yeah, a few of the officers who were there on the last day of field day, we talked with Neshoba, and we decided since Mara pitched in so much food and some of the drinks and stuff like that, even though inflation really took off with a lot of the expenses, that really also saved us a lot, and we all decided to split it between the 2 clubs. So
okay.
I didn't buy that much in snacks and stuff this year, so that we didn't, as a club, Delta Club did not buy back near as much as we have in the previous years. But we after that little tiny bit though, we split the cost with Neshoba.
Okay. So we can.
Yeah. So that's the only
one. If that's him,
that's the only check. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. All right. So that brought us to this 85 and this 1501.47 brought us to a total of $1,586.47 in deposits, and that matches up with the deposits from the checking statement. So looks like everything is correct here. I didn't receive any notifications from anybody that I had screwed up, so I think we're good. And anybody have anything that they see that should be changed before we publish it to Sparks? Any updates? All right, going once.
Looks
going
good, dude.
twice. Thanks, Barry.
The heads
All
up.
right, that's all I've got.
Glad that it's growing.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thanks,
I
Barry.
just fixing to say there's no tower expenses on there this time.
No, not this month.
We're watching you, Barry.
You
You
sure?
got 'em well hid.
All right. All right, so I did have one expense last month that I have not reimbursed myself for, and that was for checks. We needed to order new checks, so I ordered them from Costco just as it appeared that they were ordered last time. And so that was like $43 and change or something like that. So I'll write myself a check and it'll appear on next month's. I'll also be paying the club insurance for the equipment and for the liability insurance. It's a little early for liability since we were kind of late on that last year. But I'm going to go ahead and take care of that so that they are both paid at the same time. And do we need to discuss prizes for the November meeting? I'm not sure how we handle that since I've never done that.
So in the past, the treasurer, I think, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past, the treasurer has gone, and I guess whatever the budget was that we had set, they went and pulled and purchased some prizes with that. And so, like, in the past, I think we've pulled like a few of the nicer things, maybe from some of the consignment equipment that we had, whether we bought it or I'm not sure how that worked. But we bought like antennas. We've had what, a TV before, which I mean, they're kind of expensive right now. So I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I think we had budgeted $500 for
Okay.
prizes. But if anybody has any recommendations or knows of any deals or anything, that I'll keep an eye out as well.
Gift cards might be a thought.
Yeah.
That way they get what they want.
Does anyone have an IC51 handheld ICOM radio? Jim, you got one?
I have a 31.
No.
I have one. I have an ID 51.
An ID 50. Well, let's see. I think it.
Yeah, I've got 52.
Braggart.
Okay, you got Perry, you got an ID 51?
Yes.
Can I borrow your battery? We've got an ID 51 that came from Al Simpson's estate. I put it on charge. It was working. I put it on charge to charge it up, and then it stopped working. And I don't know if it's the battery is bad or what. I thought before we got to, further, if I could borrow a battery to see if it's the battery or not, we could have a very good radio.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't have a box, but I have the manual and the charger and antenna that comes with it. I'll get with you, Perry.
Yeah, absolutely. That won't be a problem.
I should have said something, and I'd have gotten it Thursday night.
I know.
I want to say that the 3151 and the 705 all use the same battery.
ICOM 705.
Yeah,
The same battery for 705?
uh-huh. I've got a BP 271 here. What's the battery you have?
Let's see, I've got the battery that came with my radio was a BP 271.
Yep, so that's what I have with my 31.
Yeah,
What about
271.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
what about the 52, John? He
He
fell
went-
asleep.
It might use the same one.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I'm looking.
I'm just kind of curious now.
That wasn't jealousy in my voice. I just had
Yeah, it's a BP 272.
Oh, nope, different.
Okay. That might be a higher capacity.
It's only different by one.
Yeah,
Close enough.
18.
Only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's right, man, we're hams. We can do anything.
How many amp hours is yours, John?
1880.
This is 1150. So it
mine. Let's see. I've got a 4,000, a 2270, and 1150.
so Perry, you got 3 batteries with you.
Yeah, I got some aftermarket ones, and they seem to work pretty well. I have 3, I have a total of 3 batteries for that radio.
Yeah, that radio is probably worth $300 or $400.
I don't know. When the new ones come out, I don't know what goes to the price of them once the newer fancier model comes out. The 31 and the 51 were out forever. And they're good radios, but yeah, I don't know when they release the 52, I don't know what that does to the price of the older ones.
Yeah.
I'll go to HRO a lot of times and just look at their used stuff, and that, I guess, gives you an idea of what people are getting, or QRZ maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'll charge that for you, Joe. We'll get together.
Okay. Thank you, Perry.
I'll give you one of the bigger aftermarket ones. They just have a little bit more juice.
All I want to see is if it powers it up. If it powers it up, then we've got a decent radio. If not, we've got a problem with the radio. I didn't want to go out and buy a battery if the radio's bad.
I'll bet it's fine, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. My rates are pretty reasonable.
Spoken like a true attorney.
Just a nice silence there right after that.
You don't pay for it unless you win.
There you go. And if we do win, we'll take 70% of that. So
Plus expenses.
Do we need to vote on a budget for that? Because I mean, that's next month, I guess.
Isn't it in the budget already?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jim,
So I guess,
I'll be glad to work with you.
Okay.
yeah,
Very good.
I mean, I guess just kind of what you think. Amazon is about to run some kind of sale in the next week or two. So I don't know. There may be some cool stuff that runs on sale then. And then more and more places now start running Black Friday sales at the beginning of November, which, I mean, I know you're kind of running the risk because that's right before the club meeting, but
A lot of people are putting sales on in October. I just saw it on TV.
yeah.
They're
So
getting
you
ahead
may
of
find some stuff.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Amazon's big thing for their premier members or whatever you call it is like the 15th.
I thought it was 10th
Not-
through 17th or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's the 10th and 11th.
yeah,
Okay.
That's what I remember for Prime Day.
yeah, Prime Day. That's what I was trying to think. Yeah. I don't know why I got the 15th in my head, but yeah, I think you're right, 10th and 11th.
Oh yeah, I've got the side up here. It is Prime Day is October 10, 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get some good buys then.
I don't know, whatever you think. I mean, ham radio related preferably, but then in the past we've had a few things like, like Lynn said, maybe some gift cards, maybe some tool stuff, or I don't know, we've had blankets, even like kind of whatever might interest our members. So
Always something from Harbor Freight's good.
yeah. And typically pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
All
buy
right,
one
Paul.
generator.
Oh, yeah, for real.
I don't know, maybe some lithium iron phosphate batteries. You know, they don't have to be 20 amp hour, but you know, a 6 amp hour that, you know, would power your radio for a few hours. You know,
Yeah.
think you can get those for you know, like $40, something like that maybe.
Yeah.
Sure, we can come up with a variety of nice gifts.
Yeah.
And if we need to as well, like if we know of anybody who has connections, like I may reach out to Stewart Brothers Hardware to see if they do like gift cards or gift certificates and see if they're willing to donate something. So if anybody has any connections like that, even we can use that, because I guess the more we can get donated, the more we could buy to give away. So
Can we like give away a shotgun?
well, I mean, I think that'd be a very popular giveaway, but I don't know. We have to go
Semi-automatic
about
would
that
be
a
better.
slightly different way.
Yeah.
So
Sawed-off shotgun,
Yeah, for home defense.
car
oh
defense.
goodness. But yeah. All right, Paul, what do you have for us?
I got, as Jim mentioned earlier, I have 5 applications, 1 new and 4 renewals. The new one is for Taylor Nikki. The renewals the first one is the family membership for William Hancock and Vicky Hancock. Second one is, and that's for 2024, Joe Plunk for 2024. Glenn Ellis, 2024. And I got one from Robert Murray that says 2023, and he hadn't paid for 2023 yet. So I'm assuming that's how we would record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
So-
what I assumed as well. I did look to see if he had paid.
For Taylor,
Earlier.
would that just be for the rest of this year, or at this point 2023, or would that be 2024?
Did he join ARRL?
Yes.
Then since he went through Joe's class, then we would have waived the remainder of this year anyway. So if he's paid something, I would assume that's for 2024.
2024.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
All
we can
right.
make sure we mention that too, since he took since he went through the class and joined ARRL, so
Well,
Speaking of commissions, I got a $5 check today for Lynn's renewal.
good deal.
All right, thanks, Len.
Anytime. Seems like they should do it $5 per year.
I think so too.
Nope, it's per application.
Right.
And it's so stated in the rules.
So I would
Mhm.
move that we accept those 5 applications.
I second it.
All right, so I've got Paul with the motion to accept the application as he just presented. Joe seconded the motion. Is there any discussion on this? All right, hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye,
Aye.
or raise your hand. Any opposed, likewise. All right, the motion unanimously passes.
The only other thing I will not be able to attend next week's meeting. If we're fairly certain that we can get it recorded, I can do the minutes from the recording. Otherwise, I was wondering if maybe somebody could cover that for me.
Well, if we think that Park may be interested in filling in for you, that might be something we could see if he's able to come. If he could just scratch down a couple notes, and then that way we can tell him, like, hey, look, it's going to be recorded. And and then at least that way the main points are there. And I can try to jot down the main points in the order as well, but if it seems like he might be interested in it, that could be good. Kind of just barely getting his, dipping his toes in the water.
And if Steve's there, doesn't he records the meetings on video?
He
Is
does.
is the audio clear enough from those to
Well,
transcribe?
sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And
Okay.
so that's why I would hate to solely rely on, like, I mean, I think we could get away with it, but I think the basics of, like, who passed, what motions were passed, or, who made it, who seconded it, stuff like that, and the generic topic. So that way, if worse comes to worse and something was wrong with the audio or whatever, then at least Paul's got the gut to write about. So
I don't mind writing that stuff down.
okay.
I'd like to do anything for Paul that I can do because he's cool.
Thank you, Perry. I appreciate it.
For other reasons, but that's the main one.
I'll second that Paul is cool. Take that
That's
to
gonna
vote.
make me
All
cry.
right. Any discussion on this? Any discussion?
If we got that
And
in
one
the
thing I
form
can
of
also do
motion,
too, I can record it on my phone, at least for the business portion as well.
Yeah.
So that way it's up front, like where I'm at. And then I can try to kind of have it with wherever I go to pick up whoever's talking. So you won't be able to see anything, but you might be able to hear it a little better.
We got you covered, Paul.
I appreciate it.
It
And
won't
good
be
luck to you
good,
on the
but
10th.
I appreciate it.
Anything else for us?
No, that's it for me.
All right, Barry.
Well, about the only thing or activity that's going on is I'm still working on getting the club license renewed. That is not a simple matter, let me tell you. The biggest problem I've got is it looks like it's boiled down to the fact that the FRN is owned by Bill Stevens, and he's dead. So I'm trying to get. I have gotten attached to it, but the problem is because he's the administrator. I think they're sending all the stuff to him to be approved. So I'm trying to get over that hurdle, and I've been fighting having to call the FCC, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. I just really didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty confusing, but I know a lot more about it now than I used to. But I've been working on this for 2 weeks. So anyway, we'll get it. Anybody wants the job, fine. Oh, and the other thing, anybody got any complaints about the 8.2 repeater? Because I haven't heard any.
No, it's been great.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
it
You had
did
handheld coverage from Tipton
Yeah.
County.
it did great during that bike ride, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's what I like to hear.
as long as the PL tone was on,
Yeah.
or as long as the offset was on.
I'm saying offset. It's the offset. No, and I also I had to switch out my antenna because I had plugged in my mag mount and it worked last year or whenever we were on the 8.2 just fine, and it wasn't quite something wasn't it didn't sound that well, and then I realized that the mag mount, the coax was like really bent and everything, and I think that happened. I haven't plugged up that antenna since before the storm, and a branch had knocked it off the car and everything. And I think in that process, it probably bent it or whatever. And so I brought another one as a backup. And sure enough, used the backup and it was fine after that. But no, the repeater sounded great. So like you said, there were a lot of folks checking in on antennas. I checked in on the antenna a few times and heard it loud and crystal clear. So
You mean on
phenomenal.
handhelds?
Yes, on handheld.
Everybody was checking in on with an antenna.
Yeah. Yeah, using a handheld, yeah. So,
Well, anyway, that's all I've got. Hopefully, I'll have better news. Hopefully during the meeting.
yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed. This is not an easy process, as it should be, and it's because we're a club. So,
Yeah.
and the Bill Stevens thing has got me stymied right at the moment. So that's it.
Okay. Well, if there's anything we can help with, let us know.
Joe's helping me out a little bit, so as usual.
I thought he had, one of the club meetings said that he had got that all changed.
Nope.
Must just,
And he's administrator. I'm just one that's tacked on underneath it. And they finally got me on the list. I had to go through hoops to get that done because I was not on the actual list for that. And so I'm on that now. Matter of fact, if you look, I'm listed for the FRN, but it's still not totally done. So I need FCC's help. Just cut through the chase. That's it.
John? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. For the program, at the end of last month's meeting, Billy Freeman came, WL4B, and volunteered to do a presentation on the wildfires in Maui. And I took him up on that, but I emailed him today just to confirm and haven't heard back yet. But that's what I have lined up. He was really excited about being able to do that. So worst case,
He does good presentations.
yeah. And if I have to, I'll walk a block to the east here and go knock on his door. So next month, tentatively have Rick Tillman set to do a satellite demonstration. And then in January, I thought we would do a video if we can get the sound and everything working right on the radio room on the battleship Missouri and the volunteer group that does the ships on the air for that.
Okay. Sounds good. So do you feel confident that he's gonna?
I do. I mean, he was really excited, and I was going to try to get him to do it in November, but he wanted to do it in October. So, because I think originally Rick Tillman was going to do the satellite thing in October, but
Okay. Um, sounds good. Mike, do you have what you need that sparks the program? Wait,
Mike's
he's
not
not
on
on
the
mic.
on the
Yeah, I don't see
video.
the call tonight.
He's not on Zoom.
Um, have it. Well, and this is also kind of looking ahead a couple meetings, and this is. Do we want to go on and talk about? Do we think we're going to be able to do a potluck dinner? We can.
I was gonna bring it up in the snacks.
Okay. Are you
Will we
good,
be able
John?
to do that at the, will we be able to do that at the seminary?
That would be a good question to ask the powers that be if we can do a dinner.
We can bring food in, yes.
What about cleanup and all that? You know, a lot of places have special needs for, you know, when you bring food in and so forth.
Well, we bring food in as it is, so it shouldn't be a problem. The
I
only
don't
problem,
think it's a
the only thing that we might see if no one will probably be able to use the kitchen stove or anything like that. We can probably get ice, but using the stove might be something that might be out on them. Maybe utensils. I guess the utensils are all packed up in storage.
At Steve's father's house, correct?
Yeah.
They can be
But I
obtained
mean, they're
easily
all
enough.
they're all out
If
there.
you can grab all that, that would be helpful. I take it we still want to do ham dinners. Ham. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if I was up next. Am I supposed to
Yeah,
go?
we can roll right into it. Yeah.
Okay. So the ham dinner, if it's okay, any certain ham that we want? Do we want to have just the traditional ham and whatever? I've got to
The
look.
spiral cut ham.
I was thinking that I had, I got them at Sam's last year.
I mean, just make sure it's a ham.
Not vegetarian, huh?
You know, they sell things and call it whatever they want to.
So, okay. Do we have any preference for a snack this time around? Or just kind of the usual things that I get? It is Halloween. I'll try to pick up some more candy. The next meeting in November, we're supposed to meet in that new area. Do we need to make plans for that too?
We need to look at it
Okay.
this next meeting.
Okay. But for a ham dinner, just bring all the utensils in, and it should be fine.
Might
But that's
want
all I
to
have.
do a dishwasher.
Well, we're gonna chunk everything into the trash, I guess, or a recycle bin. Do we have any other suggestions for snacks? I'll be glad to stay on next year. So, I mean, it's up to them. If anyone wants to volunteer for what I do, I'll be glad to open it up to anyone who wants to. I don't want to stop anyone from not getting in on the ground floor. But that's all I
Well, it
have.
still takes a lot of time and effort doing what you do, though. So I wouldn't say ground floor necessarily. You know.
Well,
Because
actually, it's
the one meeting that you weren't there, it took how many of us to figure out the coffee machine and
well, that's a good point. You just make sure that you
you
bring
know.
your coffee maker this time around. So
Oh
actually,
goodness.
I like it. I like it at home now. Only problem is that it sits over in the corner room, and every time I go outside, it's like, hey, there's a snack. I can take a snack. I don't like. Sometimes I don't like that snack being chocolate in the house. I don't like chocolate in the house if I can prevent it. So, but anyway, that's all I have.
I just got a text from Mike Harrison. Sorry, missed tonight. We had grandbaby number 5 today, and I forgot about the meeting tonight. We did not have service in the hospital.
How exciting. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, so whatever, that sounds good, Scott. And I guess we just want to wait to see what the setup is before we talk more about the potluck next
Yeah,
month.
let's talk next week about when we go look at the other location, what we can and cannot do.
Okay.
The other location's November, not December.
Right, yeah. Well, we can talk about the ham dinner.
Yeah.
And how about we
Yeah.
have a ham dinner and see if he has any suggestions on, what we can and cannot do.
Sounds good. Lynn,
Nothing from this end.
There was a nice article in the Germantown
Yeah.
email list on Jelly Thompson, 50 years with the fire department.
wow.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. Last one, Perry.
Well, I have been continuing to make an effort to move around the room, talk to new hands, new members, people maybe that haven't come for a while that are coming back. I've talked to some people on the radio. If I hear some of our newer hams or people that haven't been in a club meeting for a while, if I hear them call out for radio check or monitoring or something, I'll try to get back with them on the radio. I've had a couple of people email me and say, it was good to visit with you at the meeting. I'm, going to try to start coming back now. I really enjoy it, et cetera. So I feel like that's paying dividends, and I like what you're doing, Mary Jean. You do a good job during the introductions and all, of making people feel welcome, give us an opportunity to see who our new hams are, and I feel like it's being appreciated.
Oh, yeah, it does seem like it makes a difference. So,
As far as the board stuff, I guess I'll start praying for a miracle on that.
it'll work out. It always works out. Okay. Does anybody else have anything else? Okay. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we're missing something, but maybe not. All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, I don't have anything else. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. So I've got a motion from Paul to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
So John made the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it unanimously passes. We are adjourned at 7:34.
In fact, I failed the first grade.